The New York Knicks just finished playing the San Antonio Spurs, where they beat them by the score of 126 to 105. And Chris and I are here to break all things down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris in the building. And before we move on to today's video, we want to remind you that if you are watching this video, yes, that more than likely means that you're part of the 20% that is not subscribed to the Knicks Digest YouTube channel. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop listening to my voice. Smash that subscription button, and let's get Knicks Digest out of here, baby. Let's get the numbers up. Chris, what's up, my guy? How you been, man?
I'm great, Dariel. It's awesome to be back on a post game with you. These are always the most fun way to do these post games. Obviously, all the videos best as duos, but especially post games are way more fun to not just talk to a camera.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. You saw more of the game than I did. I obviously missed the first half, so when the Knicks went up 33-16 in the first quarter, I don't know how that happened. My big notes here are that Isaiah Hartenstein is going to get paid by a different team because he's playing too well. He is a starting caliber center, and that Mitchell Robinson should be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation because that man just locked Wemby up.
Facts. Now the thing is that, like, I was telling you a little bit earlier, I was like, it's the Spurs were so bad today. They were so bad, and you weren't able to watch the first half. And when the game started, they just looked like they had like dead legs. Victor was just like he was just getting pushed around way too much. And it was just surprising because like you said, their record was 3-4. They beat the Phoenix Suns like back-to-back games. Victor dropped 38 in one of those games. So like we were all expecting like a little bit more of a showing from Victor and the San Antonio Spurs, but like they just did not come to play at all. Chris, the game was honestly over by like the middle or the end of the first quarter. That's how bad the Spurs looked, yo. They were just so bad.
Look, man, I mean, obviously, I can't really take any real information away from the first half. I didn't see the first half. Got home, saw the second half of the game, and I guess I saw a little bit more of a reinvigorated Spurs, but I do know what you mean. Wemby looked like, not that he didn't care per se, but him and the entire team, they did look like they were kind of lazy. The Knicks looked fresher. And so obviously maybe it's not the game to bring this up, but at least the Knicks just scored a lot. Like they got to 126 points. The real highlights are that one, Jalen Brunson seems to have fully gotten it back. He had a little bit of a spotty start. He had his great games. He had his poor games. It seems like he's getting on track, and it seems like RJ Barrett, or this version of RJ Barrett, is here to stay. 5 for 9 from 3, 8 for 17 from the field, 24 points, 6 assists. 2 rebounds to add on to that, and also a steal. Plus 26, which is awesome. RJ Barrett is a different person. This is a different RJ Barrett than we've ever seen before. This is an RJ who can hit consistent threes while also not playing that 3-and-D role that we saw in the 2020-2021 season. So maybe he's just hitting his prime. Who knows? Some guys take a little longer than others to fully figure it out.
During the game, because the commentators was Mike Breen and Hubie Brown, and I think Mike Breen, he made a good point. He was saying how he talked to Coach Tibbs earlier today, and they were talking about just the production from RJ Barrett and how good he's looking. And Mike Breen mentioned, he was like, one of the things that Coach Tibbs thinks as to why RJ's having such a good season is because he was playing in the World Cup this past summer. So he was playing a lot of basketball, and they had like a semi kind of deep run last season in the playoffs. So last season in the playoffs, they lost in the second round, and then RJ plays in the World Cup, and then it's training camp. So basically, Mike Breen was saying that like Coach Tibbs said that RJ has been in a rhythm all this time, so that's maybe why he's having such a good start to the season, which it kind of makes sense. It does kind of make sense. But yeah, you're right. RJ's having a great start to the season. This might be one of the best starts that he's had, and the RJ relationship is kind of like the Julius Randle, where it's a love-hate, even though the Julius Randle relationship is a little bit more toxic, if you will.
Yeah.
The Julius Randle relationship is definitely more hate than love. I'll say that. But yeah, no, RJ is definitely one of the highlights. And you were talking about Hartenstein earlier this video. Hartenstein's probably gonna get paid this offseason. Man, it's just like, I get what you're saying. I like Hartenstein coming off the bench, the second big man behind Mitchell Robinson. I like what he's able to do. He can post up. He has a three-pointer. He can put the ball on the floor if he wants to. He can create plays for himself. But again, tonight specifically, if we're talking about tonight specifically, it's kind of hard to judge that because the Spurs were just so bad. they were just so bad, man. Like anybody was able to get anything. Like if you had what's his name, Ryan Archie Diacono, I think his name is. If
Yes, it
if
is.
if you had him coming off the bench, he would probably drop 15 or 20. I'm not even joking. That's how bad the Spurs did play. And no offense to Ryan, but like man, it was bad. So
Yeah, absolutely what you said. No offense to Ryan Arcidiacono, but he is more there for the vibe of the team.
the
Obviously,
vibes.
one of the Nova guys. And you need that good vibes guy on your team. We had Theo Pinson and we all loved him. Arcidiacono is the same thing because of his playing time with DiVincenzo. He has played with every single Knick on this roster with the exception of Dylan Windler and DeQuan Jeffries, who are right there with him at the end of the bench. No shade to them. That's just where they are on the court, or well, not on the court, I should say. But he's got a good rapport with these guys. He got out there. The Knicks cleared out the bench, except for Evan Fournier, dude. Evan Fournier has not appeared in a game this season. Please trade this guy. Trade him to the Spurs. Put him with Wemby. Do something. I feel horrible for this man.
That's so funny because I've been meaning to ask you, but I just keep forgetting. And like we were talking about Fournier in the summer, how he's in the doghouse, and he was trying to show Coach Tibbs in preseason how he's like really dedicated to defense, and he has not gotten any burn this season. God, Fournier, you are in the doghouse, bro. I see him on the bench though, and he's engaged at least. I do see him on the bench clapping and like trying to up his guys, so that's a good thing. But man, I do not see him getting out of the doghouse anytime soon.
I don't think Evan Fournier is ever going to play another second on the New York Knicks again. The big thing is here, huge props to the guy, because as you said, he looks like he's been a tremendous teammate when this guy has every reason to essentially be what Antonio Brown was to every team that was not the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. Because this man, like, let's just say it how it is. Evan Fournier, without any question, is better than Ryan Arcidiacono, DeQuan Jeffries, and Dylan Windler. Maybe some other guys too, but we know Fournier is a guy who belongs in an NBA rotation. The Knicks are deep, especially guard heavy and wing heavy in general. So, no, not on the Knicks. He does not belong on the court because he's a defensive liability the way that no one else on that Knicks bench is or on that Knicks starting lineup, with maybe the exception of Brunson. But Brunson's not a bad defender. Fournier is a worse defender than Brunson. But this man needs to go for his own sake. I feel bad for the guy. I know people are like, oh, he's making $19 million. Why are you feeling bad for him? He wants to play. And it makes no sense for us. Why are we paying a guy $19 million to watch games courtside? Let him go. Yeah. Trade him somewhere. Buy him out. Do something.
No, 100%. I agree with you. So like I don't know what he's gonna have to do in order to get to the doghouse. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I did want to mention another highlight from this season, not just from this game, from the Knicks beating the Spurs, but man, so Emmanuel Quickley, again, everything I'm saying, you got to take it with a grain of salt because the Spurs are just so bad. But yeah. Emmanuel Quickley in the first half, man, I liked the way he was playing. He was aggressive, going to the rack, and he was creating plays for himself, and he was also creating plays for others. But I liked how, I guess I want to say how easy it kind of was for him. But again, that kind of goes to just the Spurs players that they have on their roster. And the Spurs are the youngest team in the league. So it's like that makes sense. They're just going through their rocky starts of the season. They're going through growing pains. They're just, especially Victor, he's just learning how to play in the NBA. But I mean, this was a good W. A W is a W, right?
Oh, for sure. Especially when it gets you back to 500 and it's a home game. Because let's flip this very quickly just to add something of like sustenance. Say the Knicks lost this game. This postgame, we would not be laughing about like the Evan Fournier situation. We also wouldn't have been texting each other like, oh, we're not gonna have anything to talk about this postgame. It was a nothing game that the Knicks went in. We're supposed to win by a lot, and they did that. The Knicks did what they were supposed to do. The Knicks lost this game and ended up being 3-5 because they lost to the Spurs. That's when you hit the alarm bells.
Yeah, we would have been going crazy. We definitely would have been looking to blame Brunson, Randall, Barrett, anybody. We'd be looking to blame someone. So you definitely got a point there. So we'd
be close to a fire tips chant at that rate if we lost this one.
Facts. Well, W's a W. We're happy.
Yeah, and then just one final thing that I liked was that we saw R.J. Barrett score 24 points, Brunson score 25, and then we saw Randall score 23. Something that I've seen a lot with Brunson and Randall and Barrett
is that the two do not always play well together at the same time.
Mm.
They're very similar players, and that can lead to one of them going off, and then maybe the other having sort of a quiet game. And I'm not going to compare them to two guys who are a much better duo, but it's not unlike how Tatum and Brown have been in the past for the Boston Celtics, where it feels like this might be a little bit redundant. So it's good to see Barrett and Randall play well together. One of the plays that I did see late in the game was, though he did have Emmanuel quickly wide open in the corner, Barrett made a really nice no-look pass to Randall for a dunk, and MSG went crazy. It's good to hear Randall get cheers in any way, just because of, if you just look at social media, it is rough for Julius out there right now. He's done a lot for this team. I know it's not been the hot star that we want, and as you've mentioned, it's the Spurs. It's not like Randall went out there and had the best shooting night. He was 8 for 19, but he had 23 points and the highest plus-minus on the Knicks. So just a little positive note to end things on. But yeah, just a game the Knicks walk through, and on to the next one on Sunday.
Facts. All right, Chris, I just want to say thank you for joining me on this post-game video covering the Spurs and Knicks. But for the audience, I do want to remind you that 80% of you guys watching this video right now are not subscribed to the Knicks Digest YouTube channel. We need that number to go up. So please stop what you're doing, smash that subscription button, get the Knicks Digest subscription numbers all the way up to the moon. So until next time, guys, thanks for checking out this video. For Chris and I, we'll check you on the next one. Peace.